Alright then guys, well welcome back. We're actually in a different location today. We're actually at my house for the first time. And it is windy and there's quite a major road right there, so there's going to be loads of road noise. But this video is going to be kind of weird. It's going to be lots of little bits stitched into one big video because it's kind of like the tinkery part of this project. So I've been going around trying to collect all the parts that I'd forgotten before, things like the washer jets for the windscreen, and also I've now painted the little caps for both of these, but as we know, this one pops off, so I guess I need to take the whole bumper off. So let's quickly whip that bumper off, sort out that headlight washer. I can't put both of the caps on today because I still need to cut this hole right here out a little bit bigger for the cap to fit in there, but the passenger side one should go on today. Fingers crossed everything else underneath is good. So let's crack on with it, get it done, get these little tasks out of the way. Of course, Sod's Law says that it's going to rain the moment that I step outside. My camera is not waterproof, my toolbox is waterproof, but the tools in it get rusty, they get wet. So I've got to close my toolbox, which means I can't get to any of my tools. Why? So while it's raining like this, I'm going to leave the camera here under a porch, so it should stay out of the rain, and you can just watch from over there. Okay, so that is the two little headlight washer jet things repaired as far as I know. I haven't had a chance to test them out yet. I'll test them out in a minute. However, there is one more part to change, and that is the windscreen washer jet. Now, if you saw the video where I put the bonnet back on and run the little washer jet hose through, you would have seen that I was missing one of the heated washer jets. Well, that's what this is. I scavenged this out of the old bonnet, which I must have forgot to take out when I took the bonnet off the car. Now, I can't actually remember which one of these is the one that's not heated. But luckily, they're dead easy to remove. You pull back on them like that, put them out, and this is the unheated one. Easy to tell because there's no wire hanging off it. So this is the one I'm going to change. But this should be the heated one. Yeah, there you go. It's got a wire hanging off it. So just that one to replace. Right then, with all that done, it's just starting to try to rain again, so better check to see if these headlight washers are actually working. Oh, well, that didn't go as I planned. They came out a little bit, but didn't actually spray anything, so I'm going to top up the washer fluid a little bit and have another go. Oh, they're definitely working now. Let's see if they fit through the holes in the front bumper then. Right, with that great success done, it's time to move on to the next thing, which is going to be adjusting those headlights. So when I drove this car the other day, I drove it at night, and all I could see was the road. I couldn't see anything sort of past a few, maybe 5-10 meters in front of me. I was almost blind. So these definitely need to be pointed up a little bit more in order to drive at night. Which is why we're out here in the dark filming this, so that I can shine the lights at the wall, get a good idea, and just tilt them up and make them even as well between the two. So let's do that. All you're going to need in order to do this is a 6mm Allen key, and you're going to use this little hole here and this one here. Then you see that they both have a little Allen key slot in them, and yeah, you're just going to tilt them up and down. I think one does sort of rotation and sort of horizontal rotation. The other one does vertical rotation. So you're going to have to play around with these a little bit in order to get them right. But it's a lot easier in the dark. You can shine the headlights at the wall and get an idea, and also make sure that they both match. So now that we've got our headlights on, you can see the beam matches between the two lights, but they are very low. So I'm going to just bring them up a little bit, not too much, but just enough so that I can see a bit more on the road. And that is it, guys. It's literally as easy as that. Obviously, I don't know if that's the right height yet. I haven't taken it for a drive. All I've done is adjusted it up where I reckon it's about right. If you really wanted to measure it, I'm pretty sure the percentage is 1.3%. But yeah, so we'll move on to the next task that we need to do. Guys, welcome to my attempt at a how-to video. I'll show you what I'm doing.
Hi, Future Tom here. Just wanted to pause this video to tell you that this ended up not being a how-to video, but I'm still going to talk you through what I did.
I'm going to be removing all of these pipes, all of these vacuum lines, and just simplifying the whole system. We're going to be deleting the pump, the secondary air injection pump, and all of the sensors that go with it. First things first, this job's going to be a hell of a lot easier if we remove a few of the bits that are in the way. So we're just going to click our way through this. So I have removed the air intake and the battery. They're both down there. This is for access to get to some pipes and nuts that are down here and bolts and that. I've also removed the front bumper, and this is so that I have slightly easier access under here, because that's where the bolts for the pump are. Once you've released this plate, then you want to undo this little connector here and this one under here too. Be very careful with your dipstick. These get very brittle and snap off very easily.
Now, I can't lie, having never done this before, it was terrifying cutting through these vacuum lines. But this is what I had read that I had to do to get this little front plate off of the car. Now, I promise you, I had a good few attempts at removing the nut that holds this bit of pipe on, but in the end I just whipped the Stanley blade out and cut it off anyway. Now, onto these vacuum lines. These are for the evap system and also need to be removed. So, you just need to pop the one off the inlet manifold, the one behind that also needs to come off, and then you've got to remove the plug on top of this evap chamber thing. One more little line to remove back here, and then just undo the two 10mm bolts holding the evap chamber in.
Right guys, the next thing on the list is to remove the pump itself, which is buried way down there. You guys can't even see what I'm looking at, but buried down here is the pump.
Right here is what the pump looks like from underneath the car. Now this thing was mega annoying. There's threaded rubber bushes holding it on, and they were just twisting instead of undoing them. So, out came the Stanley knife again to cut through those. So at this point in the evening, it's starting to draw in. I wanted to try and get everything as disassembled as I could before I gave up for the night. So I'm removing what I can from this coolant manifold, so I can move it far enough out of the way to access the 3 bolts holding the secondary air injection valve on. By the time I eventually got the valve off, it was completely dark. This morning I decided to tackle making the resistors. These resistors are going to replace the sensors that I removed yesterday. I used an angle grinder to cut the plug ends off those sensors and then soldered a 330 ohm 10 watt resistor onto each one, which hopefully will trick the ECU into thinking those sensors are still there. With that done and those resistors plugged in, it's time to start putting the car back together. So first is the blanking plate that covers the hole left by the secondary injection valve and fitting the coolant manifold back on. Now I don't need access to the side of the block anymore, so the battery and air filter can go back in place. Before I filled the coolant back up, I decided it was best to change the thermostat. I'd noticed the day before when driving it that it never actually got up to temperature properly, so I thought it was a good thing to replace while I didn't have any coolant. Now with the engine started, I can have a good look about and make sure that I haven't missed anything and there are no leaks. Now we can finally get onto the finishing touches. A nice new second-hand alloy wheel, so that steel wheel can go back to being a spare. And I know I never showed you me taking this tail light out, but there was so much moisture inside it that I had to keep it in the house for a few days just to let it dry out for a bit. And once it had dried out, I repaired the seal and popped it back in, make sure all the bulbs are working. And finally, the last thing, a simple oil and filter change. But this is where I stopped filming.
Now I stopped filming because of this, which is the oil filter. Now if you're looking at this oil filter thinking, it's got a load of holes in it, you're right, it has. And that's because whoever did it up last did it up so tight, I couldn't remove it. And I ended up spending the next hour and 45 minutes stabbing screwdrivers into the side of it, just trying to turn it off. And it was so tight that it started undoing the oil cooler. Honestly, by the time I managed to actually replace the oil filter, I was so done with working on this car and so done with filming. And I still didn't finish working on the car until 11:30 at night. But I think we need to address the elephant in the room. The Golf has gone. I've already sold it. I've already finished it and sold it, and you guys aren't going to be able to see it in this video. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until next week. So if you enjoyed it, please hit subscribe, hit like, hit all the buttons, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.